Okay, so welcome to S&A on March 7th, 2024. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 5:04 p.m. So let's get to our agenda, shall we? So roll call. We've got here, of course, myself, Xander Johnson, Jared Osborne, Jake Robinson, Aaron Sargent, and Mia Young. Sorry, Jake, I forgot your last name. So yeah, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve our agenda.
I will motion to approve our agenda.
Okay. I know Jared's traveling, but can we get a second?
Do you think he disconnected or?
I'm uncertain because he said he was traveling and that he'd need me to do chair today, but I'm not entirely certain if he's still able to participate.
I'm gonna let you go do whatever you have to.
Sorry about that, Xander. What was that?
We just need somebody to second the agenda approval. Are you able to do stuff through chat today?
Yeah, I'm just busy for the next minute or two, and then I'll be able to go on voice.
Certainly.
So I will second that motion.
Awesome. Cool. And let's do voting whenever
I will say
that works. Sorry?
No problem.
Okay. Okay, so it looks like we've got a unanimous vote. So let's move on to approving the minutes. So I'll entertain a motion to do that.
I will motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, fantastic.
Rather short guy with long hair, ponytail, whatever. No.
No. Are you guys waiting on me again?
We are.
Yeah, sorry.
I will second that motion if it needs to be seconded.
Perfect.
Okay, fantastic.
And
let's do
the approval.
Okay,
right,
fantastic.
I'll also motion.
So then that passes. If needed, we can we postpone the things we need to do for this agenda till next week, if that would be easier for everybody?
Next week is finals week. This is the
Right.
last week of the quarter.
Okay. Then we'll just power through. I think that's all that we need approved for the moment. So do we have any public comment?
Reports.
Oh, sorry. Do we have any reports from the chair, which is me? No. Do we have any reports from our advisors? Aaron?
I don't have any reports, though. I did maybe this is more for the old business, but we did, if you all wanted to entertain a conversation at some point to pick up where we left off about the Alice and the availability and potentially, so it's probably old business, but I'm not sure if you guys had thought about that or.
I also wanted to add some input on that. I've been talking to Joey about that, and he wanted me to mention some things on his behalf during this portion of reports. And I did look at everyone's class schedule, including Alice's, for next quarter. And first and foremost, Jake, are you graduating this quarter?
I am graduating this quarter.
Okay. So, just a reminder that you would need to be
Enrolled in a class too. Yes.
Yes, so we might
Um,
want to consider seeing if there would be someone to help fill that seat for next quarter. And
Yep. I had sent an email to Joey about that. I don't know if it ever sent or if he replied yet, but
no worries, he probably
we'll
has
be
a
sure to follow up with that.
Yep, no worries. And with that being said, I did look at everyone's availability, including Nick, regarding for next quarter. And I was able to see that everyone is available Wednesday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., as well as Fridays from 8 a.m. to I'd say 12 or 1 p.m. Xander has a class at 2 p.m. So I would say 12 p.m. would probably be more preferable if you guys wanted to meet at that time period. But these are just options for your guys' availability regarding your class schedule. If you guys have other commitments such as clubs or jobs, of course, that's not gonna, I don't have access to see that type of thing. But I just wanted to, based on your class availability, I'm mainly seeing 4 to 5 p.m. from, sorry, Wednesday through Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. and about, I would say 8 a.m. to noon on Fridays. Class schedule only.
Well, I'm not certain if this is something we could do, but would it be better to decide on a new time when we have a larger portion of the committee present, or is that something we need to kind of figure out now? Also, I appreciate all of the looking that you did into figuring out what times would work best.
I think that's up to you guys, whether or not you want to make that a motion right now or later in this meeting. And if we do want to postpone that vote for a later date, that is something that you guys can decide upon. This is just the information we're sharing to you guys. Aaron and I can't really have a say regarding this.
Okay. Well, thank you for the information. I appreciate it. I don't know about you, Nick or Jared, but I think it might be best to perhaps entertain a motion. At least I will entertain a motion to postpone this decision until we're able to have a larger portion of the committee here. And I know that this is the last meeting of the quarter, so I'm not entirely sure how we could do that. I'm not sure if this is something we can discuss over email or.
Well, the good news is that the quarter and the next quarter is coming in like 2 weeks. So
Well,
maybe 3 weeks. We've only got 1 week for a break, so it's not going to be a huge gap.
The next meeting will be March 28th at this point, unless we change it. And I think that you all can decide to change it at a later date. We can continue March 28th. There's no, it doesn't necessarily have to be changed at the beginning of the quarter, I don't think. So if you want to wait until the 28th and talk about it, then that's fine.
Just keep in mind that.
Is it possible for us to schedule a meeting earlier than that if we need to?
I don't believe so, or I don't think we're allowed to meet during finals week or breaks. And just be reminded that if we do meet on the 28th, that is a Thursday, and for our last meeting, Alice will be unavailable to attend that meeting.
Okay, well, I will make a motion to postpone that until our next meeting.
I will second that motion.
let's vote.
I'm going to say aye because you can't see my hand.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's unanimous. So we will postpone deciding when our noon meeting time shall be until next meeting on the 28th. So yeah, we don't have a representative of ASCWU here, but I will ask for reports anyhow.
I will say I'm not a part of ASU. I was gonna just comment that the earliest I think we could do a meeting next would be March 26th, since that was the first day of spring classes,
I see.
which would only be 2 days sooner, but still a little bit sooner.
Well, we should definitely keep that in mind.
Sorry, just before we move on, I did talk to Nick since he's not at this meeting today. He said that Mondays and Tuesdays are his busier days, and the 26th is Tuesday, so it is unlikely that Nick will be available that day.
mm,
Okay, well, why don't we send out our schedules and email, and we can try and coordinate a good day to meet for the next time.
I think if we can, discussing this before our next meeting via email or something similar would be beneficial, so that we can either meet on the 28th and decide, and have everyone or as many people as possible be present, or figure it out over email and make a decision that way. Yeah. Thank you again for being so informed, Mia. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Have we received any communications from, I guess this is something either Aaron or Mia?
I do not believe so.
Okay. Fantastic. So let's go to our first round of public comment. Any public comment?
Yes, this is Lola. Since Joey's not here, he had sent me a message about student trustee applications are going to be opening up very soon. And the deadline to apply is March 29th. So that's going to be a really quick turnaround. We're going to put something out about it. But you know, if you all know anyone who would be interested in that, please help spread the word. There will be like an online application process. So.
Okay, fantastic. I hope that we get lots of applicants for folks to be student trustees. I know that's a very important position.
Is there a link to that online application, or is that yet to be made?
It's yet to be made. He was waiting for that before we could proceed with some publicity for it. But yeah, I'll follow up with him tomorrow and see if he's got it yet. It was coming from someone else. So, and then the other thing is the ASCWU elections filing for candidates opens tomorrow. And so we'll put something out about that as well. And again, the more people we get applying for these student leadership positions, the better. There's a lot of big topics coming up next year. So it would be great to have, you know, give students options and get more involvement. That's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Yes, having lots of options for democratically elected positions is a good thing. So go out and vote and sign up to be a candidate. Okay, so moving on from public comment, we have new business. We've got a couple program reviews to do. All of these happen to be Slice related. So I feel like I am relatively credible to talk about what they are. So starting with ICA Club Travel. So ICA is no longer a thing. It's now RSOs, but I know that was a relatively recent shift. I do essentially what they do is they fund club activities, particularly club travel. So a club is able to request funds via a funds council that is overseen by Slice, and we provide them money to go and pursue activities related to their club and to academic furtherment. And I actually have a question about this, Aaron. So for fiscal year 23, that's like the 2022-2023 school year, right? Yes. Okay. I see that there's like an $83,000 transfer like fund out. That's the rollback from unspent funds. Am I correct on that?
That's correct.
Okay, sorry. I have trouble seeing the nodding.
No, that's okay. I didn't realize was still muted, so that I was speaking as well. But yes, that's correct. And most of that, excuse me, is a carry forward from the previous year. If you look at the bottom of the 22 actuals, then they began the year with 105,000, and most of that was from the prior year. 90,000 rolled forward, and so you know, I would say that the numbers here are accurate, and that is sort of what they had not spent on. It would represent what was not spent on the club travel, but again, some of that is going to be related to COVID, where, you know, traveling was low, and we've kind of seen that in some of the other program reviews that we looked at, especially with sorry, of course my dogs are going to bark now, but especially as it's related to travel, because that was one of those sort of later things as everything was kind of ramping back up. So it's probably the majority of that would probably be related to that first year of the quadrennial cycle, because you can see that they expensed in 23, they actually expensed more than what they were allocated, and that is part of that is the prior year. So it's just that first year that my assumption was that that was sort of when everything was still ramping back up.
Okay. Well, thank you. That satisfies my question. Does Nick, not Nick.
I do not have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Jared, do you have any questions?
I do not. It looks pretty good to me.
Excellent. So let's move on to campus activities. Campus activities.
Before we move on, Nick sent me a message about some of his comments for this. He just wanted to say that he appreciated all the event details as well as the other statistics, but he has no questions for the review.
Okay. Excellent. Yes, and I also appreciate all of the statistics. That is a very detailed program review. So moving on to campus activities, essentially what campus activities does is they host a large portion of the activities found on campus. The central put on activities, things like Monday Movie Madness, the open mic nights are hosted by campus activities. Also a large portion of the week of welcome events. If you went to the paint party, if you went to, what's another good example? The speed friending events. Those were put on by campus activities. The large outdoor or the large indoor movie in McConnell, that was put on by campus activities as well. So they host a lot of large scale events that often get a lot of students, particularly in the first quarter of the year. And then I have another question for you, Aaron. I can promise, or I can assure you I'll probably have a question on all of these. So it says that they ended fiscal year or began fiscal year 23 with an negative $18,000 balance. Do you have an assumption as to why that might be?
I would have to go back and maybe look at some of the spending. I don't know exactly why that one might have been overspent. It could have been a variety of things. I'm just kind of looking at, yeah, so we rolled back almost 50,000. So I really don't. I think that would have been something that probably would have been addressed. Sorry. Shh. In the prior year. But then it must be dinner time. I think that they can tell time. Sorry. So distracting. But they made up for that this year. And so I'm not sure why. I think if we look back, we can probably see some of the in the discussion, but that kind of tends to happen sometimes if they've overspent and they've made up for it in the past. And that was back probably when it was normal to roll forward balances and things.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense. Anything from Jake or Nick?
I do not have any questions.
Why do I keep thinking Nick is here? Jared.
You can call me Nick if you want to, but I got nothing.
Okay, thank you.
I would add one more thing on this one. It looks like in the first year they had a lot higher staff wages, and my assumption would be that part of that was if you look at 23, that's really one of the big differences. And so it looks to me, just looking at this report, that they moved some of their they either did not fill a position or they may have moved some salaries out, but that looks kind of like where the big swing on that one would be.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense. Okay, so moving on. So this is the Office of Student Involvement. So a couple years ago, CLCE and the Office of Student Involvement combined to become SLICE. So this is from when they were still Office of Student Involvement, and they're paid out of a different budget than the other parts of SLICE. So Office of Student Involvement is what kind of puts on our club events as well. So exterior to travel and the funds that we talked about earlier, these put on club related events and pay for the staff that puts on those club related events. And yeah, I don't have any questions about this program report. Do Jake or Jared have questions about this program report?
I do not have any questions about the student involvement program report.
Okay,
And once again, I got nothing.
fantastic. Okay, so let's move on to CLCE. Now, CLCE is what SLICE was before they merged with the Office of Student Involvement. So CLCE handles the leadership, development, and community engagement activities. So your big Spring Day of Service event in the spring, that's put on by SLICE and specifically the community engagement arm of SLICE. Leadership does a lot of cool things. Recently, yesterday, in fact, there was a Women in Leadership panel up in the ballroom, which was really fantastic. So leadership is about leadership development, and community engagement is about volunteer opportunities and connecting students with their community. So, yeah. So, I have a question for you, Erin.
Sure.
So earlier this year, there was some budget issues with SLICE, and it was like we were like way under where we were, or over where we were supposed to be budget wise. However, I'm looking at the fiscal year 23, and it says that the projected beginning balance is like $300,000 pre-allocation. So I'm just curious why there may have been a lot of budget difficulties, say this year. I guess we transferred all of that out, huh? All 300,000 of that back.
Well, as for this year, I'm not sure that this is where, the part to talk about current year budget difficulties. I'm not sure I would describe it that way.
Sure.
Things are, of course, wages are going up, budgets are going down, and there are some sort of adjustments that might need to be made. But in regards to this, then here's what I can dig into this a little bit more if we feel like we need to. But my recollection of this is that there was a intentional decision to bring forward part of this balance because it was going to be related to cat camp. And then there was a supplemental request that was made by the director last year, and to take some of these forward moving monies and reallocate them to cat camp, which was not approved. And so that rolled back into S&A. Now, as far as if you look at all of these, there's a variety of different wages in each one. And so, looking at individual budgets, it's all part of one area. So you sort of, you can move people around and things like that. But in this particular case, I'm pretty sure that 300,000 was related to that. Does that sound right, Mia? Is that kind of, I mean, that's okay. But I feel like this is the budget that request was made from.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I was just a little confused about that. That's all.
No, I totally get it. And I'll after we're done, before we meet again, I'll verify that. And if there's something else to add, then I'll let you know. But I think that's what this one was. And it is a large amount. And of course, I understand what you're saying. Especially when you're leaving that kind of money on the table and then all of a sudden things change. But that's my recollection.
Okay, fantastic. Jake or Jared, do you have any questions about this budget?
No questions, but comments. I do gotta say, I love the work put into the logistics and demographics on this program review.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot of information put on there.
It's definitely nice to see because there's not always an easy way to find this information.
Okay.
I definitely
Jared?
remember that cat and cat vote, and that also matches my recollection for that for Slice. So, but other than that, I have no comments or questions.
Okay. Well, that's all of our program reviews for today. So thank you for managing my questions. I appreciate it. But yeah, let's move on to our old business, which I believe we discussed earlier about reassessing our meeting times, which we have pushed forward to March 28th or sooner. So let's go to our second call for public comment.
I'd like to make a public comment. I just want to thank you guys all again for your time and dedication, and I hope that you all have a lot of luck on finals week and find a lot of success and have a great spring break.
Thanks, Erin. Yeah, thank you very much. So, any other public comment?
I wanted to say good luck for finals week next week. And please, please, please remember, guys, daylight savings is this Sunday. we are going an hour forward. So if you're one of those, I don't know why they did that. That's torturous. I'm sorry for you guys to have to go through this like the day before your finals. Well, day before dead day, but still, just please be aware of that. So that way you can take the necessary preparations to be mentally prepared to be in a different hour next week to take your finals. Good luck. I hope you guys do. You will do great. You guys will do amazing. I'm gonna manifest it for you guys. You guys are, yep, 100% on everything.
Okay, thank you, Mia. I appreciate the encouragement from everybody today. We're gonna do fantastic. And I see a hand from someone. Jared? Question mark?
Yeah, that's me. I'm just going to comment that when in doubt, you can always go with the tried and true method of answering every question with the letter C.
C is always right 110% of the time.
Yeah, given that most of my finals are not multiple choice, I think I might be a little bit out of luck on that one.
We'll see.
Well-
You write the letter C in.
As a computer programmer, you can use the language of C.
Just pseudocode the whole question.
Okay, well, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting today, unless there's anything else that we need to go over.
I will make that motion.
Okay,
I will second that motion.
okay, let's vote.
Aye.
Fantastic. I hope you all have a great finals week and a great next quarter.
Have a wonderful time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.